I may still be drunk from last night.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
It's pretty awesome. I was up until 5:30 playing Populous. Yeah.
Oh.
Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I like what's happening.
Going to sleep a lot later than it should be.
Yeah.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. This is Aaron speaking here with my two loquacious co-hosts.
I am Ryan.
Hi, and I'm Caleb.
And we are here today to cover this is our episode 12. We're going to cover 1101 to 12. And I'll do a quick episode recap.
Yep.
Last time, guys, we learned that Hot Rod doesn't give a fuck
Gives
about
no
the rules.
Loves to fish, hates to watch ships.
That's right.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Doesn't give a fuck. I think 2/3 of us have decided we don't like Hot Rod.
No.
Well, I'm the lone where I'm like, yes, objectively, he's a fucking
Well, right now I
Douchebag.
don't like him.
yeah.
Right now, I don't like
but again, like I said earlier, that in watching the movie and even now, I'm like, I feel like the narrative is I'm supposed to identify with Hot Rod, and I did, and I do.
You think that's what it's all about?
Yeah,
Like,
because he's the main character.
He's like a charismatic jock that just gets away with everything in school. But I still get in trouble for little shit. But no, he can do whatever he wants.
which I should hate. Because,
He's a Letterman.
Because I did not like those gentlemen, but.
So we learned that Lookout Mountain should be called Lookout Manhood.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
You definitely prepared that ahead of time.
Hang on, I've got some more.
Okay. All right.
Lookout Mountain should be Lopsided Member.
That's not bad.
Flippy-floppy, okay. Mushroom Head Mountain.
Oh, that could be like a track in Mario Kart.
Speaking of dicks, Hot Rod foiled the Decepticons' Trojan horse play.
Are you preparing your Johnny Carson Type 5?
He's got it written
It's
down.
just the recap. It's just the recap.
All right.
Just let him do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the minute ended with Hot Rod. I'm throwing away my cards. The minute ended with Hot Rod surfing down the mountain after Megatron cut off the head of the dick.
That's right.
So that's where we are last time. And as we start this episode, really, we've got Blitzwing flying into frame along with Shrapnel coming in from off screen. I'm going to try and for our
This one and the next one are two. I mean, the Siege of Autobot City is probably my favorite part of the movie. Maybe aside from whenever they're inside Unicron, but like these 2 minutes are awesome. I love them, especially since Dare is still playing.
Right.
But yeah, this is where we get to see the first of the Triple Changers.
That's right. I forget that Astro Train is in this as well.
Was Astro Train introduced in this movie?
Yes.
I don't think he's introduced. No,
is he in the show before this?
He's in the show. He's in season 2. For
Oh,
sure.
that's right.
Hang on.
Wait.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Did season 2 come out after this movie or before this movie?
So it was in production while this movie was also in production.
In anticipation of the plots being established in the movie for season 2?
Well, so probably because
showing my weakness here.
That's okay. No, that's all right. Season 2 is being produced in the. I mean, this is set in 2005. The show was set contemporarily at the time in the mid 80s. So, anyway, the production for the movie was happening at the same concurrently with the production of season 2. But the timelines, there's nothing that happens in season 2 that is meaningful to the movie, if that answers your question. But what it does mean is a lot of characters that were introduced in season 2 that you'd think, why aren't they in the movie, is because well, those characters weren't introduced in the show yet. Maybe there weren't animation models or whatever. This is being written before a lot of the characters that were actually introduced in season 2 were developed.
Okay.
And so there's guys like Omega Supreme, like other combiner groups other than the
Aerial bots.
Yeah, aerial bots, the Stunticons, the Combaticons, all these guys that came out chronologically from a story perspective before the movie don't show up in the movie because they just weren't developed as characters yet.
Right.
Glad I asked.
Oh, it is an interesting tidbit. And so, okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the screen, so this is totally editable. I love this fly-in where he just flies into the screen there.
Shrapnel
That's really
flying
cool.
in. That's 1107.
1107. And I always loved Blitzwing. I just thought one of the coolest characters. I had the toy as a kid.
Yep.
It broke, but it was
It's a good
really
toy.
cool toy.
I think all the triple changes were pretty good.
Yeah, they were good about making them look. I mean, they weren't awkward looking at all. I like the color scheme on them. Mm-hmm. Solid.
I had Astra Train. I did not have Blitzwing, but this was. I kind of fell down a real deep rabbit hole of like looking up the triple changers and stuff, and like it was more of the, like I said before, of is it a concentration thing? Is it a skill that they've learned? And it was. This is from the Transformers wiki. They mimic what they transform into. They aren't that thing, so they're just mimicking it. In the Ultimate Doom Part 2, Prime reverses the polarity of his windshield for visibility during a thunderstorm, indicating that he sees out of his windows. So it's like real fluid as to what they possibly could be. I mean, could everybody be a triple changer? I don't know. I mean,
So, is Blitzwing not a tank right now?
No.
With a turret?
he's not.
What
He's
is he?
mimicking a tank, but
Is he mimicking a plane when he was a plane right before
They're
that?
mimicking what they are. They aren't that thing, which is weird to think.
Now, does
Well,
this
we're
apply to
getting
all
into,
Transformers or just triple changers?
According to the Transformers wiki, it's all Transformers. They're not what they are not the thing. They are mimicking that thing.
They are robots in disguise.
So
True. It wouldn't be a car that is disguising itself as a robot.
right.
So in true, like we refer to a car or plane as the alt mode, but technically it's not an alt mode. It's just
It's their
disguise
costume.
mode.
It's their costume.
These guys are always ready for Halloween.
Well, that's how they as in.
but they only have one costume every year. So boring.
So I mean, that's how they are able to. That's like that's the whole premise of the movies and the G1 is that's how they can keep from being discovered as being like this alien life form and how they can move around in society that isn't ready yet
This is just settling in, guys.
to
Yeah,
realize.
I mean, this
After
there's
decades of
extraterrestrial
deep.
life. So that's a cool way to think about it. They're
Yeah.
not a tank. They are a robot.
who looks like a
It's
tank.
mimicking a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Well, so speaking of mimicking, one thing as I was just a little bit of criticism that I don't understand. Here's Blitzwing at 1104 in plane mode, flying into the screen. He transforms into a robot, and then he transforms into a tank. Why did he need that double move? Is it just to show it off?
Okay. Yeah.
I think one thing because movie, yes, they're like, oh, we're gonna show off these.
Remember, this guy has two things.
Show off these triple changes.
You want to show him first. Show him
Also,
Sure.
as the robot.
if it's in the world of the movie, I think because it's easier to land as a robot than it is as a tank.
He just turns into a tank and
smash. Yeah.
or
It would
maybe he
look
just
weird.
misses
It
the
would
ground
look weird.
and kind of lands on his side like a turtle upside down or
Oh,
something.
I'd love to see that. Somebody cut that.
Blooper.
Somebody
It's
cut
a
that
blooper.
to where he goes straight from a plane into a tank and just smashes into the ground.
Upside down. Okay, so the other thing about this sequence is I was watching it is it's a super slow aim. Like he aims,
Yeah.
like pull the trigger,
Also,
pull the
Hot
trigger,
Rod,
pull the trigger,
Maybe
pull the trigger.
move. It is really slow, and Hot Rod is. But I this part starting at 11:20 where Cup transforms from his pickup truck mode into robot, and then swings around the turret and ruins Blitzwing's aim. Is
Bends his-
awesome.
he
I
bends
love
his
this
turret,
part,
yeah.
especially since it like culminates in like when Dare is still like really pumping. It's awesome.
So, one thing I'm kind of curious about, great animated stunt. How much did Cup really help? Because we see Blitzwing take the shot,
And
and it was like right on. Like, in fact, I would argue
Well-
that Cup helped Blitzwing aim. Like, Blitzwing
No.
might have been a little low, because Hot Rod still has to dodge right out of the way. It looked like it would have just nailed him right there.
I don't know. Look, it shoots up into the sky.
Well,
I think
because
it's
he
still
got
there.
out of the way. Cup grabbed the turret. And here, let me help you out a little bit.
Once again, I think regardless of what you think, Hot Rod certainly doesn't appreciate it.
We'll find that out in a minute. Yeah.
Save it.
And then it's Shrapnel, which
That's right.
he takes a lot of punishment in this movie.
Right. I love watching him tumble down the mountain
Yeah.
after he takes the hit, and then
He falls so hard that he hits the tank and moves him.
in a way that physics would never happen.
Right.
It's Blitzwing and they fall.
It's a cool shot. I mean, it's really nice animation.
11:30 is where we're looking at.
They're even showing like the tread come off.
Oh,
the,
yeah, I noticed that,
It's
yeah.
really nice.
That is cool.
So another thing that this sequence made me just think of really is, what is the Blitzwing Shrapnel attack strategy? Because since they were seen together a couple seconds ago, we presume there was some collusion there, like a Blitzwing from the front, Shrapnel from the back thing. But if the execution of that was correct, Shrapnel was in danger of getting shot either way.
Real crossfire situation. I think, and this is just occurring to me just at this moment, but thinking about like military strategy, God, the Decepticons are terrible at it. Like, there's no strategy. Everybody's just winging it.
Yeah, they need to read Sun
coming at it willy-nilly.
They need to read Sun Tzu.
That's right. Art of War.
They got that whole ship hijacking thing nailed pretty good.
They did that. Yep. They
I think
nailed
both.
that.
I think both sides have some severe weaknesses.
It's almost like it's a kid's show, and it's not like a real war.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I love the explosion, or I don't know if it's just I don't know if you'd call it an explosion, but we will just call it an explosion. From Blitzwing shot into Shrapnel, I love the way the smoke just kind of spirals off of him as he takes the hit, and
I think I had a note about this in the next
impossibly down the mountain
episode, but I will say the explosions and like the lasers in this movie are awesome. Like the way they're so choppy and like if you pause it, they're not in a straight line. It's very like chopped up and angular, and it looks really cool whenever it's actually playing. So I mean, I love the shooting in this movie.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I've so much so that as a kid, I would compare, and you and I draw, and Caleb drew as well, but you and I would draw Transformers a lot, or draw lots of violent things, not in a weirdo kind of way, but we would draw war stuff, and my benchmark, my high watermark for if I liked a drawing of an explosion was if it looked anything like a Transformers the movie explosion. I would just refer to them as Transformers the movie explosions, the way the shading and the lighting and all that was. But okay, so Hot Rod dodges the shot that Cup perhaps intentionally had aimed at him, and we'll just assume that Cup was trying to do good there, and slides down the mountain. Not bad for an old timer. That's something you'll never be if you don't get back to the city. I should have let you do it because it'll be better.
All right. Old timer. That's something you'll never be if you don't get back to the city. Save it, Cup. Let's burn rubber.
He also does
save it.
That was not a good hot rod. It's just like...
Well, to be fair, they don't have time. At that second, Starscream is kind of crawling.
Yep.
Like I never really noticed before. I thought in my memory that Starscream just kind of came out of the stratosphere at them.
But he actually is in robot mode.
Yeah, he's in robot mode, and you see him kind of weasel-like crawling along the side of the mountain there for a second. Then he transforms, comes at him, and that's another great set of explosion animation when he dives down on them and tries to take some shots.
That's the thing about the explosions in this movie. I like the glowing. Like they do this like purple glow that looks like heat. I mean, it feels like it's hot whenever you see it. I love that part.
Yeah, I'd have to compare it to the G1 the standard cartoon to see how much better it is, because I remember loving that as well. But it's probably some lighting effects that they.
Starscream's role in the Siege of Autobot City is kind of hilarious. It's just a series of. I mean, that's later, but a series of him not doing anything good.
So, Are Cup and Hot Rod kind of the Starscream Megatron of this movie?
I don't think so. I feel
No.
like
You wouldn't go that far.
No.
They're constantly talking shit at each other.
No, but this is a different dynamic. This is
totally different dynamic.
This is an
sure.
older. This is an old wise Autobot
Mm-hmm.
trying to. It's trying to teach a young Autobot some.
yeah, I feel it's more like a mentor situation where he's trying to like.
It's mature versus immature.
Right, and yeah,
It's
it's
like-
a pretty.
I'll go with
I mean,
that.
it's
great.
it's very similar to like Rocky, the coach,
Yeah.
the coach, and Rocky.
Mick and okay. So here we are, 10 seconds in. They've dodged Starscream.
10 seconds from the end.
Or 10 seconds.
11:49.
11:49. About 10 seconds, 11 seconds from the end of the minute. Hot Rod and Cup transform into their alt modes, make their way down the mountain. I know I'm being overly critical of this episode, but clearly this part of the mountain is more of a hop down approach. It's not exactly made for driving.
It
but,
is.
They'll do it.
Just drive on down. Whoa. But at any rate, you see them drive off into the mountains. You see a nice matte painting of the city, and you can see it's already under siege. And we end the minute essentially with Perceptor. We get a little glimpse of him, and so
transforming.
don't know what he's up to. We might talk about that the
I'm
next
sure
minute.
it will. I had him as a toy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was a pretty good toy.
Actually, I've got him down there. The G1 version is in that mess there somewhere.
And I don't want this to become a huge part, but I fell down 2 rabbit holes. One real quick, just their transformation noise. Apparently it's an 8 hertz pulse repeated 5 times. And generally the sine wave increased when transforming into robot mode and decreased when converting to vehicle form. Which I was like, oh, that's, kind of interesting.
I don't know what any of that means.
Thank you, Caleb. That's exactly right.
We
And
do have a soundboard.
yep. The other thing was, and you, I'm sure, know about this, the Diaclone versions. Like, maybe you've told me about this before, but I started looking into it. I had never read about that before. Like, almost all the G1 and a lot of the ones who we're about to be introduced to, which I guess we can speak to in the next minute, are Diaclone toys, which was a Japanese toy that just did not gain traction, and then it was at a toy show, Tokyo Toy Show, where Hasbro in 1983 saw it, and they struck a deal with them, making them into Transformers. And I think that, to your point that you've said a couple of times, Aaron, it was that they put personalities on them. And they made them like individual characters, as opposed to in the Diaclone versions, they're terrible, and they have terrible names. It's like
Terrible how?
Oh, they just don't. There's no personality. I mean, it's just a toy that turns into a different toy, and like the names of the characters are like they did the Dinobots were Diaclones, and it's like the name is like Tyrannosaurus. I'm like, that's
Just like
it's
what
just,
it is.
it's just there's no there. It's just not interesting.
So the fandom will probably know a lot about it, more so than even I will. But there's actually 2 toy lines that Takara absorbed that ultimately became Transformers. Diaclone was one of them, and probably the larger one, and the other one was called Microchange.
Yeah.
And you can tell a toy from G1 was a Diaclone by the fact that there is a space in it to that you could put a figure in, because the Diaclone toy line, they weren't sentient robots.
That's right,
That
yeah.
wasn't the story. The story was they were robots that were piloted by people.
More along the lines of like Gundam
Or Mass.
Stuff like
Something,
that.
yeah, exactly. And
even Voltron.
even the
Yeah.
Dinobots, to your point, you'll remember there's like places on Grimlock
Yes,
where
where
his
you-
chest
there's
opens up. You can
that's
insert the Insecticons, same thing. You can
I
open
always
them up.
wondered why that was like that as a kid, and that's because it was meant to be
Something else.
piloted by a person.
My Grimlock has a weird compartment in it, and I was always like, "What's up with that?"
Right. Well, a little passenger would have sat in there if
Would-
this was released in Japan.
In fact,
Would Optimus
yes.
be Diaclone? 'Cause
Yes,
He was a
he was.
Diaclone.
In fact, he had 3 people that came with him. That were in
someone's
his,
riding bitch.
in his trailer mode. They were even magnetic. You could stick them onto it, and he was called, I think, Battle Convoy.
So just off the top of my head here, and I say off the top of my head, I've got Transformers Wiki in front of me here. So of the Micro Change, the other toy group that was absorbed, so Soundwave, the tapes, the little mini bots. Megatron was actually a Micro Change line product, and there's actually there were lots of different gun characters
pistol.
Yeah, it's a straight up gun.
Megatron. It says Megatron's beloved grandfather. That's funny.
And these lines are actually being reproduced. Like some of the molds still exist, and there are reproductions that are made.
Like anybody who was a kid post like 1989, where you had to have a gun with like a orange tip on it, or it had to be colored. Megatron straight up was just a gun.
Yep,
it's a fucking pistol.
Yep. I don't know much about the story of the Micro Man or the Micro Change line, or really the Diaclone line, but collectors eat these things up. To be able to get the kind of the pre-Transformer versions is a big deal, and even within the world of the Masterpiece line that I collect and the third parties that come along with that, they will often come out with the Diaclone versions, like Sunstreaker. There's a red version.
He was the first one to be built.
Was he really?
Yep, he was the first
schooling
Diaclone.
me.
I mean, I went deep. Like, this was hours. I looked at YouTube videos of people collecting Diaclone. I went on eBay because I'm like, your birthday has passed, and I got you something. But
did you bring it?
I did. I haven't gotten it yet in the mail. Something from Etsy, so it's gonna be here whenever. But yeah, I looked into getting you like a Diaclone version of them, and they are hundreds of dollars.
I've got something I ordered for you that I'm hoping will show up. It was a Hail Mary. Valvoline's offering.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Valvatron.
That's awesome.
I submitted an old expired receipt where I spent you have to buy like 5.
Oh, you're hoping it'll come through?
Yeah.
Like the
said
fact that it's expired won't matter?
Well, I took a picture of it and
How does
didn't
the
put the
receipt expire?
Date of purchase.
Oh.
So anyway.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perhaps
thank you.
You might get.
Thank you for whatever you're gonna get me, and maybe thank you if whatever you got me works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the it's crazy, like the Diaclone things that did come from this. Basically all the 84, 85 Autobot, all the cars, the planes, Dinobots, Constructicons, yeah, Blitzwing, Optimus, Ultra Magnus, and I think Blur. Oh no, Perceptor. Perceptor is definitely a Diaclone as well.
Gotcha. We've left ourselves open to lots of corrections.
Yeah.
Because true fans know this stuff backwards
Right.
and forward. As we we're done covering the minute, but I like to cover the voice actors.
Yep.
Blitzwing was one of my favorites as a kid. So the guy, and as a character, you might remember he had moments in the second season. He had a moment of treason that was arguably as bad as anything Starscream ever did. He and Astro Chain struck out on their own because they didn't like what was going on with the Decepticons, but they got dealt with, and accepted back into the rank and file. Blitzwing is voiced by a guy named Ed Gilbert. He also voiced Superion and Thrust, and he also voiced a lot of non-robot characters on Transformers. So one of the unfortunate first episodes depicting Middle Easterners in a bad light, he played a major
was that
character
the Carbomia
in that.
one?
That wasn't the Carbomia. That was season 3.
There was another
Middle Eastern.
I didn't realize how much the original writers were so racist against Middle Easterners.
Do you have details on that situation?
Well, I can't remember off the top of my head. But and then several other characters, Basso Profundo, for those who might actually know who these people are. I do not. Jarrow, Sean Berger, and Sullivan. And then in non-Transformers world, Ed Gilbert voiced Baloo on Tailspin.
Oh,
he did
a great show.
General Hawk in G.I. Joe, Mr. Smee in Peter Pan and the Pirates. I think that was a kind of off-brand Peter Pan.
It was an unusual one, but it was fun to watch.
I liked it. Yeah, good animation. He was also a noted entomologist. He actually had I don't know if it was just a major passion or if he was got paid in the field. But actually, in fact, he must have got paid because I know he was his expertise.
I don't know if you can call yourself an entomologist if you don't get paid. You're just like that weird bug guy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm a surgeon.
Because I cut people
I've
off.
never. All right.
But his specialty was beetles in that world. Beetles was kind of his
Well, he
thing.
should have voiced the Insecticons.
Yeah. I know, that would have made more sense.
We've used a real entomologist
To develop these characters.
That's right.
That,
That's in the commercial.
It's like all of our all of the cars, Transformers.
They have to be mechanics.
auto mechanics.
Yep.
Yes.
Because Shrapnel didn't speak, I didn't cover his voice actor in this episode. I think I might have it. I think he does speak in a future one.
I think he says nay.
I think he does talk in a couple of minutes here. But anyway, and Ed Gilbert, as so many of these actors, passed away in 1999 of
mortality.
lung cancer. It just tells how old are we getting?
Yeah, no, I think about death every day.
I'm so selfish. Like, okay, he passed away, tragic, but that just means I'm getting older.
Yeah, no, I definitely internalize this what it means about me. And think about this, which I think about all the time too. I might be dead by the time this episode airs.
Yeah, you might be dead before you get home today.
Well, that seemed specific. And
Guys, I just lied. I do have notes on Shrapnel. On the guy that voiced Shrapnel.
All right, let's
Sorry,
forget about
but
that
before we go into Shrapnel, 5-second toy review. I bought the KFC third-party Blitzwing Ditka, and it is the worst toy ever. So if you're thinking about buying it, don't buy it.
Why would you buy a Transformer from KFC?
It was in the kids' meal.
Oh, well, I guess
You would expect it to be a cheap piece of crap.
I bought you something from Valvoline.
Was
I don't
that-
have my high up. I didn't buy it. I submitted a expired receipt, hopefully, to get it. So
KFC is a third-party company it stands for Keith's Fantasy Club, but they do ape from the KFC logo in their own logo.
weird.
weirdly
I was
enough.
hoping
They
it
do.
would be like something from Kentucky.
But was that you showed us that last week where it
Yeah.
just won't stand up?
Yeah,
and-
it's a piece of garbage. Supposedly they're going to send little parts to put in the leg to help it stand up, to fix the ratcheting or something.
Seem like
Some
my
shit.
responsibility.
It really doesn't. Not for the amount of money you
Can
spend
we-
on these things. Moving on to... Go ahead.
Oh, well, I just wanted to get back to the part where we're all going to die.
Okay. Oh, you just wanted to think about that some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now you can move on.
Thank you. Shrapnel. Well, he doesn't have I'm not certain if he has a line in the movie or not. There's a point coming up with Kickback later, so we'll see. But just to give that person a little credit, a gentleman by the name of Hal Rail. Hallelujah, he's still alive.
Oh, good.
But he also voiced in the Transformers world Pipes, Snarl, and an alien called Skuxoid, which you may or may not remember as a race of reptilian mercenaries hired by Galvatron to kill Octane in season 3.
I do not recall.
Other characters, he did a lot of Muppets. He was one of the voices of Raphael on the Ninja Turtles, Batman animated series, Pound Puppies. In G.I. Joe, he did the character Deep Six. He was the voice of the Predator in Predator 2. Marvin the Martian, but only in the Air Jordan commercials from the 90s. Perhaps with Spike Lee, Air Jordan, and this guy all got together and partied.
Maybe so.
He's still alive. He operates a voiceover studio with his wife, Maggie Roswell. She has claim to fame as a voice actor for The Simpsons. She did Maude Flanders, Helen Lovejoy, Miss Hoover, and Luann Van Houten, in addition to several other minor characters.
My God, I want to be a voice actor in the 80s and 90s.
These guys all have to know each other. It's
Yeah,
weird when
it's
you
a-
look
it's
at
a
their
small
IMDb and there's some
community.
other voice actor pages. Hanna-Barbera's paying the bills. These guys are paying the bills.
Warner
Marvel
Brothers.
Simbo. Script deviations. Have you got anything, Ryan?
I have nothing for this minute, and the next minute I don't have any. So do
Okay,
you.
maybe that's one thing we need a script deviations.
I wish this was a video podcast so you could see Caleb's.
Well,
Disgusted
Aaron wants
face.
to put like some little like
I want soundboard.
he wants like a little theme for every little aspect of what we're doing here.
We're gonna make fun of Caleb now.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I'll have to make some music.
All
for
right,
that.
so script deviations. There's not much. I don't have much for this either. Instead of the scene with Cup and Blitzwing, instead of bending his barrel up into the air, on the version of the script that I have, Cup spins his turret around. It does like a bang.
That makes more sense.
And he Blitzwings takes the shot and hits Shrapnel still, which it kind of makes more sense to me. Like
it does.
Shrapnel's over there instead of over there, but and then the other thing is that then Blitzwing transforms into a robot mode. Cup comes flying at him and takes kind of a flying feet first kick at him and knocks Blitzwing off a ledge.
I did read that and could not visualize how that scene would have worked.
Yeah.
So
They did fine. I like the whole tumbling down the mountain and crashing into each other thing.
The problem I had was where like he's not on him anymore and then comes jumping at him. I could not figure out how that logistically was supposed to work, but it's also like, why did you shoot? You know that somebody's manipulating your turret. Like, why did you fire?
Just trying to get it off real quick.
I guess.
Or maybe he was like, I wasn't quite there. He's got me right in the sights.
Or it's like, well, it's like whenever you try to stop from coming, and it just happens. Well, I can't make all these sperms turn around.
Oh, God. The only other script deviation is that old-timer line, that's something you'll never be if you don't get back to the city, and the addition of the line, you know what we used to do with cocky, insubordinate upstarts, which never gets addressed. I don't know what they used to do with cocky, insubordinate upstarts.
That's presumably where Hot Rod says, save it, Cup.
Right. Exactly. So that's all I've got.
Yeah, no, I thought this would actually be kind of an anemic episode, but we covered a lot of shit. That's all I've got as well, I believe.
I mean, our recording time, this will probably get edited down 25%. 40 minutes. We just took away from the review of our friend Serge Bama said that this is the perfect amount of time. He loves our timing. Now it's too long. I'm sorry. Serge Bama.
I mean, we recorded. I guess I didn't read that.
Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Please listen to our show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Presumably you're using one of those methodologies already. Tell your friends to listen on one of those. And follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All of them are at ApodDcast. And please feel free to come by, visit our web presence at autopoddecepticast.com. iTunes users, please rate and subscribe.
But only if you really like it. If you don't, just don't
go to hell.
no, don't go straight to hell. Don't go to hell. Just be silent and don't give us 1 star.
If you give us 1 star,
oh no,
we will fucking find you and beg you to please like us. Please.
Ooh, he turned it around.
Okay, all right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah, good luck if you live that long.
I mean,
all of us could be dead by next week, but I guess time will tell. Bye.